Welcome back, everybody, and almost time to say goodbye to our SABC2 viewers. It's been wonderful having you with us all the way through this election coverage, but unfortunately this morning we have to go back to our normal scheduling and say goodbye at 8 o'clock. But we do have Mzwai Mbeche here, who is going to give us just a snapshot of what you think of these elections so far. I mean, Mzwai, it has been a very interesting week. It really has been. So much has come out of this. There's some big winners, there's some big losers, but at the end of the day, what is standing out for you in this election?
Well, what basically stood out was that South Africans spoke, and they spoke quite differently. Some of them went out to the polls, but others spoke by staying away.
Yeah.
So what did that tell you? That told you that they are so unhappy about certain things. And in fact, after this election, parties, not only the ANC, by the way, all parties must go back to the drawing board. If people showed their dissatisfaction with the ANC, so much so that they didn't go out and vote, what is it that you did as an opposition party to get them to vote? So were you not able to convince them? So clearly, all of them need to go back to the drawing board,
yeah,
because South Africans are making their voices known. So we are not happy. By the way, we are not happy with all of you guys. So do something about it. That's why you're seeing that board in that way. I think currently we're still below 50%. So when the results are, in terms of the voter turnout,
yeah,
when the results are announced this evening, so we'll know exactly where we stand. But for now, we are below 50.
Well, this is where it's at. And of course, as you say, still much to happen. We, of course, are just about to run out of time, yep, with our SABC2 viewers. But perhaps before we do that, Mzwai, just your views on what's going to happen from here on in, because we can go and extrapolate further some of the finer details of what we are seeing. But in terms of the hung councils that we're seeing, record numbers, and what needs to happen, and following on from the point that you just made, that the electorate has basically given, a vote of no confidence across the board, if you will, to the major political parties. Yeah. Where to from here?
Well, at the same time, Sakina, they have forced the political parties to work together, because no party, in many municipalities, I'm just looking at the municipalities now, 62 hung. So clearly, they will be forced to work together. You will be forced to work with your enemy, because that's what the voters have told you. So you can't run the council alone. So he or she can't run the council alone. Get together, work together for the betterment of South Africa. I guess when we come from the extreme ends, we'll be able to deliver services to our people.
Indeed. Well, that's why we're going to continue this conversation with you, and I'm really looking forward to it, just to show you what goes on from here on out, because as you can see, lots of hung municipalities, the coalitions that are going to take place, the marriages of inconvenience that are going to happen here in South Africa. But at the end of the day, it's all about that service delivery, and that's what these municipal elections are about. It's about the community speaking on the ground, and as you rightly said, I think they've spoken very, very differently this time, by either not voting, and the amount of spoiled ballots, we haven't even spoken to that. We gave a glimpse of it yesterday on the show, looking at the amount of spoiled ballots that took place during these elections. Unprecedented numbers coming through, which again just tells you the disappointment that voters are feeling at this point. But we have to say goodbye to our SABC
We have
viewers.
to say goodbye, but perhaps just, speaking to coalitions, a point to leave us on. And Kaya Kumalo here on SABC, he asked about the coalitions, and the Danish ambassador responded, basically saying, can't help but thinking that there's too much anxiety about the political art of governing through coalitions. It's been the primary way in Denmark since the dawn of democracy 100 plus years ago. You count to 50%, negotiate a common platform for the parties to go and work on. And then he goes on to explain, exactly how, but of course putting the interest of the citizens first.
And I think that has been the practice in Europe. I remember at some point, I think that was Belgium, where they struggled to form a government for...
Mzwai, let's just say goodbye to SABC2 viewers, and then, of course, we'll continue on SABC News. But for now, thanks so much. It has been, as Leanne said, fabulous having you throughout this election period. Please take care. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Oh.